Welcome everybody back to Talkin Verzuz.
Talkin Verzuz.
aka Verzuz back at it again. This week on Verzuz, we had to do another special. We had a big one. New York in the building. We had the chef.
Raekwon, baby.
And then we had Ghostface himself. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Now, granted, listeners, we came in a little late. And this was a shorter one, but it was pretty fucking good, man. I had a good time. It had that real New York feeling. It was that real Verzuz vibe. I loved it.
Yeah, and you could tell it was two homies chilling, having some drinks. RZA came through, poured one up for him, and the vibe was there, and it was really fun because just watching it, you could tell that they were like, damn, these are some old tracks. These are bringing me back. Like, I think at one point I was like, I forgot about this one. And you're like, me too. Like,
there was a bunch
they were
of
pulling
them.
out of the attic, you know?
Yeah, they was out of the woodwork. There was a few of them that I was like, damn, I ain't heard this one in forever. Or one that I was like, man, I don't even know if I really heard this one before.
Exactly. And it was one of those songs where it was like, that could have been a number one song on the radio as well, being like just a great song.
It was really dope. I liked that RZA popped in for a minute. We got to see another member. I would say that I'd like to see a little more of the whole team, but it does beg the question, since there's so many members, do we get another Verzuz against two more members?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. You have a lot of dynamic personalities. You could even have a tribute, you know what I'm saying? Somewhat of a tribute to, ODB, have some of his old classics brought in.
That would be crazy.
But yeah, like what we've been seeing, it seems like they're, instead of verses and rap battles, it seems like it's been a lot of love lately and kind of more of like celebration of artists, which is very cool too.
I feel like it's a night of the culture, you know what I mean? And this one just happened to be New York, you know what I mean? And we could see a lot of potential coming out of having only 20% of the Wu-Tang Clan, you know what I mean? So I mentioned to you as we were watching it, that I'd really like to see like Method and RZA.
Method and RZA would be amazing.
Like two ultra popular, you know what I mean? Got killer songs, got killer music. I mean, that shit would be insane to me.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, as far as, that just opens, we just started.
Anything with Method Man, I'm all over that. He's probably one of my favorite artists. Lyrically, just
right.
Just
it begs the question then, do you save Meth for Red? You know what I mean? And let them do their own thing? Because that would be another killer night of just two dudes fucking wrecking shop. You know what I mean?
Let it all happen. I like it all.
Yeah, do it all.
Yeah,
do it all.
Just do it. Make all the possibilities happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we can. You know?
Right. What else did you think was dope about tonight?
Tonight. So I like the fact that, like you said, it was a very short episode, and we came in maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes late or so.
Maybe.
And it almost seemed like they were towards the end of the set. So a few times, hey, this is the last one, and then, but lo and behold, they kept pushing it, and it kept going, and then they just started grooving, and I think that was probably one of my favorite parts, is they were just kind of grooving to their oldies.
I would agree.
And then they just kind of kicked back and got loose a little bit, and yeah, it was good shit.
The groove session was probably the part where I was like, okay, y'all getting into it. I mean, they was feeling a little saucier at that point. They had been drinking real time.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So like they was feeling good, but I really like that groove session. Somebody said there, and it's like, this is like my uncle's house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it got real deep, and then they brought us back out. And I mean, they set a real party vibe for the evening, even though it was that hard New York shit. And then they just kept going back. But I like the dynamic, right? So tonight with those two different artists from the same group, you got like a salty or sweet type of thing. You feel me? So it was like Raekwon was doing real hard. He was going real hard. More of that New York, sitting on the stoop. What did he say? New York stairs shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Then Ghostface was doing more of the Pretty Tony thing. You know what I mean? He had some more of the songs with the R&B tip on
it was like
it.
the duo songs that he was very great at making, like the Mary
Yeah.
J. Blige and
Yes.
Ghostface. That's an amazing song, and he had a real knack for those kind of.
He did. He
Yeah.
did. So he decided to kind of go that he put the coat on type of thing, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, and decided to go that flavor
Mhm.
instead of going real hard in the basement. So it was that nice dichotomy between the both of them.
Yeah.
I threw out a big word right there, but it was nice to have that
The
kinda-
juxtaposition, if you will.
Yeah, the juxtaposition, if you will, between the both of them. So I mean, it was real dope. And what I love about being also watching the verses
Mhm.
is you get to see a lot of people in the room. So you're seeing like Missy Elliott, like that one was my shit. Other people,
Oh yeah,
Timbo,
in the text. Yeah, in the text.
yeah. So you kind of get to see it rolling by, and you know y'all like all vibing that same vibe
Mhm.
for the evening. You know what I mean? I thought it was a good one. I thought it was a good look for verses this next episode. It was kind of short though. That'd be my only thing is that
Yeah.
typically we get an episode that's like, I don't know, 2.5, maybe 3 hours. You get a long
Exactly.
time
You
where
kind of got that lull in the beginning when they're setting up, which I enjoy because the DJs will be spinning and
it gets the drink.
it seemed like it just jumped into it, and then it was like push and pull. It was like, okay, we're about to be done, and then now we're pushing it. So yeah, the vibe was kind of off a little bit.
Yeah,
but it still made a great night. But I agree with you. I think if it was more like, all right, let's run this for a couple hours, till they kick us off.
A couple hours till we just like spin everything we can.
Mhm.
But maybe they're not doing it because maybe there's something in the works we don't know about where they might need that music.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They might need some of that music later on for another thing.
Right.
Maybe another verses, and maybe they have the whole group there or something.
Mhm.
So I wondered, you didn't bring up a good question. Like, I wonder what's going on behind the scenes with the producers that made them have such a short episode this go around.
Exactly. Like, yeah, what was going on in the background? Like, were they worried about views or this or that? It could be a multitude of things, but it didn't really seem to affect the artist. You know what I'm saying?
No, not in the least
like,
bit.
Yeah, there was just like whatever.
They seem unbothered through the whole thing. They was having fun.
In fact, they were just having so much fun. Like you said, the internet never loses. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, they're gonna get them
because I think it's gonna be the dancing. You know what I'm saying? Like the grooving, like
it's always the dancing.
Some funny ass like dance moves. Oh, they're great.
Yeah, just the internet is never ever defeated, bro. Like they gonna get them, dude. It's gonna be something. We don't know exactly. I saw a couple moments I was like, hey man, that'll make a good gift.
Oh.
And they're gonna be at them, bro. They're gonna be at their necks real quick.
There's gonna be a couple of moments where they can throw some like mariachi music in the background, and these fools will be doing like some funny ass dances and shit.
Immediately, they're gonna be doing that. Immediately, it's gonna be crazy. I thought it was a little bit different. I mean, I guess we can kind of easily swing into this portion. Coming into it, it was a little bit harder for me to find this go around, seeing as they did change their parent company.
Right. So the platform has changed.
The platform has changed. It's no longer just in a couple places. Now it's in more, but primarily on Triller.
On Triller, yeah. So recently Triller purchased Verzuz from Timbaland and Swizz Beatz, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so
big deal.
It's a big deal, and it's kind of a sign that Triller is really making some moves because I've never even really heard of Triller until the Mike Tyson fight.
Right.
And they put on that Mike Tyson fight, which I thought was probably for a certain whatever budget that they might have been working for or trying to put on an event as a new company, not necessarily a new company, but a new app company in 2020. They put on a decent event, you know what I'm saying? And now you have the Jake Paul fight coming up. You have him fighting Ben Askren, and you're going to have headliners like Justin Bieber.
Yep.
And Snoop Dogg, I believe, is also on the lineup. So they got these big names, and they're putting on these big events. And
it's going to be huge. I think it was I think it was a good deal because Timberland and Swizz Beatz continue to operate it, so they continue to have the creative drive, have their money, and I believe they wouldn't have took the deal if they didn't know that they were going to get the license to do what they want to do.
Right.
But then have a bigger financial backing.
Now you got funding
and a larger reach.
Yeah.
So I think with this new buyout, I mean, it's sky's the limit. Sky's the limit on what they'll be able to kind of do all the stuff that we kind of talk about in the previous episode of like all the matchups that they could possibly make and the people they could possibly bring in. I mean, what up, y'all? Let me tell you about another product I really like. This new thing I just found called Tappy. If you're an artist, if you're a business person, if you're anybody with anything that you want to share with people, maybe you're a designer, get this. It's a new business card. It's electronic, no paper, no thousands of cards in your pocket, just one. Anytime anybody asks, hey, what do you do, man? Pull it out, tap it on their phone. All the information's right there. Tappy. Go to our website at therealnessradiopodcast.com. Go all the way to the bottom and look at Tappy. Press get one, and you can order yours right now. Trust me, it's something you're interested in. Tappy. Now it's crazy. And Trilla's doing so much other stuff. Like you said, they're doing fights. They're getting other big artists, huge pop artists, other people, and
So
activities.
Exactly. And if anyone doesn't know who Triller is, it's basically an app, much like TikTok, for like short form content artists. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So they also have a lot of shows. From what I hear now, like a bunch of celebrities have actual shows on Triller and stuff. So it's got a pretty broad following. I mean, I'm probably more out of the loop than the listeners are. You know what I'm saying? Because
me too.
You know what I'm saying? I haven't heard of it.
But I just got into it. I haven't heard of it. I just downloaded it just to try to watch this Versus. So I mean, I knew of it. I saw some of the stuff that they've done online and videos, you know, with their logo and other stuff. But I haven't been on the app. So I feel like it's going to be the next thing that's going to have that come up.
And the other direction I thought you might have been taking this in when you first brought it up was the fact that it was pretty difficult to actually get into the video.
That was going to be my second part.
So it's like, all right, they need to figure a few things out. How are they going to make it more accessible for people to get right into? Because it should be able to just pop up on Apple Music. You click into a link and you're there. You know what I'm saying? But it seems like there's so many more hoops to jump through just to get to this this video.
So I'm downloading it on the Apple TV. We're trying to pull it up, and it's only letting you flip through, you know, whatever videos it has right there. It doesn't have a search option.
Right.
It doesn't say, hey, man, this is live right now. This is what's, you know, this is the biggest thing we got. This is what we featured for today. They didn't have any kind of those options. So they definitely need to work on that. And I'm sure the internet's going to let them know. Yeah.
And so user interface is pretty shit right now, basically.
The user interface is garbage. So, you know, watching this episode, we went back old school and just watched it on Instagram. You know what I mean? And I like that. What Instagram needs to do now is also figure out a way that if people are going to watch it, that they can have the bigger panoramic view versus just the vertical view.
Yeah, just the cell phone screen view.
Right.
Yeah.
So if they can go beyond that, because it's a little doper, and still have the words up there so we can still see what people texting, but have it maybe off to the right or the left.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be better for them.
Yeah, because it was phenomenal when you put the E40.
Yeah, and you got the whole thing up there.
Too short one. Yeah, the whole screen, full screen. Looks amazing. We're like, this is how it's done right here. This is how you watch it.
This is how you watch it. It's like Fight Night style. And they said that. They were saying that tonight. You know what I mean? The people are, it's Fight Night style watching. You know what I mean? This is the new thing, like we've been talking about going forward, where you're going to have watch events. This is a Fight Night style watch event. This is a thing. It's now, you're going to a concert, except for we're going to the homie's house, and we're going to drink some brews there.
For music lovers.
You know? Right, for music lovers instead of fighting lovers. And now that it's on an app where they're going to have fighting too. Yeah. So we can mix the both. The article that you sent me when they were talking about the fight, they've got a lot going on. And there's a lot of other people that are going to be there, a lot of other performances, a lot of other things they're aiming to do. So I feel like Triller's really trying to do something big to splash in, and buying Versus and taking these like what would we call it, celebrity fights or
little battles or whatever.
I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but having these kind of Jake Paul fights, you know, or people that are retired athletes fighting or whatever, or what have you. that's a big move.
Yeah.
That's a big move because a lot of the entertainment we're watching and going towards right now is going towards that.
Yeah.
And where do we have to find it at? Triller.
And when you think about it, it's very innovative because I was just having this conversation with somebody a couple days ago about Jake Paul. And as much as I think we were talking about it on last week's episode, but yeah, he's opening up a new avenue for people who want to get into boxing or sport. If you have first of all, if you have the money, but if you have the like determination to actually do the work and make yourself a decent competitor, then you have an avenue. You don't have to just go through these, age old channels that we've always gone through. You know what I'm saying? So that's innovative, and I think that's dope.
It does open up a new lane for people who do want to get into the fighting sport to come from outside of the industry and pave a new way into the industry without having to go through the age old way to go.
And just think how many people are gonna Jake Paul and these people putting on these fights are going to give, how many people are they going to give an opportunity to that would never have been,
I've had one before.
Yeah. Looked at otherwise. So,
yeah. Well, and it begs the question of how many other people they're going to inspire, because those are just two young guys that are just gifted, and odds are, if they started boxing earlier, they would have been found too. But how many of those who were out there who weren't, but do have that charisma, and maybe they are the next kind of person to have that social media presence, and that brings them into the limelight of their career fighting.
Yeah.
I think that's crazy. I mean, amazing. It is another way to get into the industry, because at first it was like, who's these little fuck faces? Who's these guys?
Yeah.
And then now you're like, whoa, well.
Fucking douchebags. Oh, shit, they're doing something.
You're like, oh shit. They can
Mayweather is talking shit to this guy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
These turned out to be some real competitors. Yeah. Oh, shit. Who knew? I didn't. Like, and I personally, the way they act, not my favorite human beings, but the way they fight, I'm all in. Like, I'm gonna watch all the fights
because they go for it.
Yeah. But I mean, that's also it's like old wrestling. It's a good way to create a villain. Yeah. You know what I mean? They've created a good villain, and I'm like, oh, I hate that motherfucker, but I gotta watch every bit of it.
Hey, do you remember Tough Man on FX?
Yeah.
Remember that, where just you had your average Joes just jump up in the ring and swing on each other for 2 minutes?
This is it. This is it. Now we got a new lane of that. And for
it is.
These fools are like 19 and jacked. Like, you know what I mean? They're bigger than both of us, and they're young as fuck. You know what I mean? Something's in the water, y'all. Watch out.
Yeah, well, he's from Ohio. They're right in the Midwest, dude.
They're cornbread fed, bro. It's lifting bales of hay and shit. But I think it's a good move. I thought it was a good move that Verzuz sold it, and they were going in that direction. I think Verzuz has I feel like it's just beginning. Now that they just had the merger, they just sold it, they just had the thing. Now you got other people behind the scenes that are bringing in new ideas and new thoughts and new matchups and more money to do so.
Yep.
So maybe it becomes more frequent. Maybe we get one twice a month, once a month, whatever it is. I don't know, but it ought to be pretty good.
I'm excited for the evolution of it. Like, I think this has been the most exciting part of it, because I'm like, it's starting out very like, videotaping in my room, you know what I'm saying? Production value is very good now, but I'm just saying it has that feel to it where it could be just me and you recording at the house. You know what I'm saying?
It had that starting from the beginning.
So,
we're seeing it from the beginning. It's kind of fun to watch it grow, and it's kind of fun to speculate, figure out what they're gonna do next, who's gonna be next, and then get super stoked when we find out who next.
Yeah.
Who they picked, who we, oh shit, that was one that I wanted to see, and that was one I didn't even think of.
And we've been they've been focusing on purely, it feels like throwbacks.
Right.
So it'd also be pretty interesting and cool to watch some people who are relevant at the moment.
Yeah, we haven't reached current
on the
era.
Same stage and that's like a huge event, and they may even start getting into like pay-per-view type
stuff.
Shit.
Yeah. Hey, we ain't trying to pay for it, so keep it free, y'all.
Keep it free, please.
Please.
But they have the potential to do that.
They have the potential to do it.
Yeah.
They have the potential to make it a huge special.
Well, do you remember back in the day when we used to, you have to pay on HBO to watch like the Michael Jackson concerts and stuff like
all
that?
The specials that came out, it was a big deal.
That was way back. That was like 90s. Yeah.
And it was a big paying gig, for them. Like, that's a big deal to get an HBO special.
Mm-hmm.
And now the HBO specials are essentially verses.
Yeah. It's just a different medium, or whatever.
Different medium, new day, new audience. Now more audience. So who knows what they're going to do, man? I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see what they cook up next. I don't know who they got next. Maybe they'll switch it up and we get another R&B. You know what I mean? Or do we get more straight hip hop, or do they go to some trap? Do they finally do Texas? I'm waiting for Texas.
I was just about to say, I'd really love if they're doing so much tribute kind of style rather than beef style. Like, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see an Outkast.
Oh, I'd love to see an Outkast.
You know what I'm saying?
That'd be killer.
I'd love to be able to see a UGK or something like that.
Oh, that would be killer.
But yeah,
you got to do Goody Mob
like,
UGK.
Yeah, it'd have to be like Bum B and somebody south like that, and then throw some Pimp C tracks in there and some the other. Like, you can really,
I'm telling you, really I want to see Texas. That's where I'm at. You know what I mean?
Me too.
Well, man, we talked a lot about it today. It was a good episode.
Mm-hmm.
Good verses. Y'all should check it out. Remember, we're gonna do these every verses. This will be our verses special for verses when they verses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know what? The best thing about verses, in my opinion, for me, is that it's reinvigorating my love and passion for music. Not like it's doing it in an organic way, because I'm starting to listen to these old tracks and remember these and wanting to revisit as I'm leading up to these verses. So it's almost a very interactive thing. So
it is. You got to listen to it coming up. You prepping, you game prepping up into the day, and then now what bangers are they gonna play? And it's on.
Yeah. So it's a very fun, and I encourage everyone to
I encourage everyone
to
tune in, and of course tune in to this Talkin Verzuz. So. We'll see you on the next one, y'all.
See you on the next one.
Number 3. And we out.